Hi, I'm Matthew.
I'm Emily.
I'm Ameil.
And you're watching Word of Mouth.
My husband taught me how to run a car.
Yes.
I still remember everything he said, so don't you just even think of... Wait, you're speeding. I see it.
We ain't going but 19 miles an hour.
I like to go under the speed limit.
Speed limit 35 here.
The slower you go, the more you save on gas. My husband told me that.
We bad at moving. Might as well walk to the victory with you.
Tonight I saw Driving Miss Daisy.
It begins in 1948 in Atlanta, Georgia. Miss Daisy is a pretty spry 70-year-old who is very stubborn.
She's a fighter. She likes her own, wants to drive her own car. She wants to go grocery shopping for herself. She doesn't think she needs any help. Until, of course, she crashes her brand new car and takes out 3 other cars in a garage and half of a house.
So her son thinks that she should not be driving anymore. He goes about hiring a chauffeur who is a black man.
Although he's a colored man, he kind of is at that age where you say what you're thinking and you say what you're feeling. And it's putting these two very strong and opinionated people in the same room and trying to figure out how it's going to work.
At first, Daisy kind of has a little bit of a racist tendency, so she doesn't very much respond well to Hoke when he first arrives.
They can't be a relationship just because of who they are in this society, in this world. And it ends up throughout the end, they get to know each other and they fall into this routine where they become basically best friends.
It's not overwrought with racism or faith or her being Jewish. It happens, it comes up, but that's not what the play is about. It's besides that. It's a relationship that's building in spite of what's happening around them and what society is saying is okay.
Vanessa Redgrave played Daisy, and she, I think, was the best out of all the people in the show. She came in right off the bat with a very strong character and really played the role the way that I think it should be played.
Her accent isn't, I don't think, the best Southern accent. I don't really think anyone's going to notice unless you are from the South. I grew up in the South, and so I could tell her accent wasn't spot on, but she played the old Southern woman who lived down the street from me growing up to a T.
A lot of her facial expressions, there were scenes in the play that she didn't say anything, and you were just laughing or you just knew exactly what she was thinking. I love that about her, and so she was just really brilliant in the role. And there was a good feeling between her and James Earl Jones. And I don't know if they've ever worked together before, but there was a good just synchronicity that happened between them.
James Earl Jones was Hoke, and his voice wasn't as James Earl Jones-esque as I thought it would be. He didn't have this really deep, commanding voice, but I thought he nailed that Southern accent and was a very, very good part of the show.
I thought that he did a great job in terms of stage presence. He is such a presence on stage. Between his voice and just his stance on stage, you know that he's on stage and that he's really working hard. But I just didn't believe his character.
Isn't he good in everything? How can he be good in everything? He's good even telling you what numbers to call for the Yellow Pages. He's amazing. And when he came on, you just knew he was going to give it everything he had, and he did. And the mannerisms and the way he spoke, he embodied Hoke. He was Hoke.
Boyd Gaines plays Bully, and that is Miss Daisy's son. He's a great part of the show. He's funny. A lot of the humor comes through his interactions with his mom. And he has this one line that he says over and over, and it's, "You're a doodle, Mama." And each time he says that line, the first time it's really funny, and the second time, it's kind of condescending, but also funny. And by the end of the show, when he says, "You're a doodle, Mama," waterworks.
Boyd Gaines is an excellent actor, but I felt as if this part was really not, it was a good part because he was on stage a lot, and he's just a great actor. He could do anything. But it wasn't a very challenging part for him.
I thought it was a remarkable show. I really loved it. It's probably the best show, the best play that I've seen on Broadway in a long time.
It's not Morgan Freeman and Jessica Tandy. It's James Earl Jones and Vanessa Redgrave. It's Driving Miss Daisy, brilliantly written, fantastically done, and absolutely worth seeing.
With all the buildup of this play from the movie and from the original production, I thought this was going to be a fantastic show, And I got to say, I was a little disappointed at the end.
It's tear-jerking. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house to see the relationship that she's formed with Hoke, and see that at the end. It's really amazing.
It was moving. I've got to tell you, I cried at the end, and I don't want to ruin it, but you see a coming together of people, and you really saw that a relationship and a bond was there that surpassed anything that society said should or shouldn't be.
I wasn't very moved by this play, and it's, I think, largely due to the performances, not really the play, because in just listening to the words and hearing and seeing the action on stage, you could really understand how this could be a tearjerker, how it could really develop a wonderful relationship between those two characters. But I just wasn't feeling that at the end of this.
The show was amazing. I would really recommend the show to absolutely anyone. If you want to have a very good experience in a theater, if you want to be kind of enlightened as a human being, I would say this is a good show for you to see.
I would highly recommend the play. I think you have to go see it early, because I think it's the kind of play that the tickets are going to sell very quickly. So you've just got to go see it. Absolutely.
Y'all must have plans tonight.
Going to the Ansleys for a dinner party.
I see.
You see what?
The Ansleys. Oh, I'm sure Florine bought another new dress. It's her idea of heaven on earth, isn't it?
What?
Socializing with Episcopalians.
You're a doodle, Mama.